2822 Now presents Community Newsmakers with your host, Jane Ann Bugda.
Hello and welcome to your Community Newsmakers. I'm Jane Ann Bugda, and this program is designed to highlight the individuals, groups, organizations all across our region, people who are making a difference in our community every day who I think deserve a lot of credit. So today I am joined by a good friend, a longtime friend, colleague, Lorena Beniquez. Lorena is an author, videographer, filmmaker, businesswoman. What did I leave out? All around good girl.
Thank you.
Lorena, how you been?
Wonderful. Miss WBRE in 22, though, so much.
And we'll get to that, but you're a reporter here, but just tell us a little bit about yourself. You're a local girl.
I actually graduated from Dallas, Pennsylvania.
Mm-hmm.
I also went to Wyoming area for a little bit. Left for a little bit, went to Los Angeles, became a public relations executive, I guess you would say. And then missed home. And came back home and came back to work for WBRE a second time. And from there, I actually, after WBRE, I went into politics for the mayor of Williamsport, Mayor Campana at the time. And then from there, I started my own business. So I do commercials, small documentaries, and photography.
And you're an author. But I want to bring people back, just show you a little glimpse of when, for those viewers who remember when Lorena was a reporter here, we have a little snippet of some video of Lorena on the job.
Oh boy.
Here, the internet takes a bigger and bigger bite out of the Postal Service's business. This is one way for the post office to lure those customers back. For you guys that actually want to attempt to make something, here's a quick tip from William Lang. All you have to do is take some peanut butter, pretzels, fill in the holes of the pretzels with peanut butter, then dunk it in a chocolate, and look, it's even shaped like a chocolate heart. The fair this year is Duchess and a couple of her other elephant friends, and also a couple of camels, and yes, you too can ride them. The winner gets the right to display this trophy in their business for 1 year, but more importantly, they get the right to donate thousands of dollars to their favorite charity. Those crimes can range from stealing someone's identity, then securing a bank loan.
The Lorena Beniquez years here at WBRE, WYOU now as well. Do you remember any of that?
I do, fondly. I mean, I remember when I lobbied to get that job for 3 years. And I was living in Los Angeles. I was kind of done with doing PR. I wanted to do the production end of it, but there was no way I could learn that in LA. So I thought, if I can get a job with WBRE. For 2 years, I bugged the news director, and he wouldn't give it to me, the job. And then finally, I just moved back, and he finally said, okay, I'll give you the job.
and you made a lasting impression. Because a lot of people,
thank you.
I'm sure, remember your reporting, and you're still out there in Williamsport, Lycoming County, and still making a difference. Is there any story that stands out to you that you still remember? Or?
You know, it's kind of sad, actually. I would say it would be the Ray Grecar one. Ray Grecar was a Center County District Attorney, went missing. This was like mid-2000s, and they've never found him since.
Yeah, so it's
and it was a sad try. And he actually went missing in the Lewisburg area, or at least they found pieces of his computer there. So, and that's always flummoxed me that and that was a national story,
right? Oh, and it still continues to be a cold case that we still kind of think about every once in a while, bring it up.
And by all accounts, he was a very kind man, very good at his job, but maybe he was too good. And
yeah. Who knows?
Paid the price for it.
Right. It's a cold
we
case
don't know.
that still needs to be answered. But then we come to another part of your life, and what we're talking about today is you're an author. And of the lost coal country of northeastern Pennsylvania, you're a coal miner's granddaughter. I won't bust into it like a Loretta Lynn song here, but so tell us about this. What was the inspiration for writing this book?
You know, it was the Huber. The Huber blue coal. There's so many names, but it's the Huber breaker. I think that's what most of us know. And my friends and I would go, actually riding our bikes over there. Then I got into photography around 19 years old, and then I would ride my bike over there and just take pictures. And once I moved away, I would come back home and still shoot pictures of it. And finally, my mom said to me one day, you've been shooting this for like 20 years. What are you doing with these pictures? I'm like, I don't know. That's the mom, who actually in the end who inspired me to write the book, but the Huber was my muse.
And you had a grandfather who was a miner. Did you know a
Yes.
lot about your history?
I really don't. A lot of our oral history was lost, and that was another impetus to write the book because, a lot of us are very ashamed of our history in Cole because we were poor. A lot of social ills came from that, alcoholism, family abuse. It's a very dark, it's not the most lighthearted book in places, but it actually is more than just a history guide. It's also a field guide, so people can actually get out there, those hikers and bikers that want to get out there and look at this history and also get some exercise.
Right, and it also, like you said, keeps our history alive because I think as generations pass, people pass, the Huber breaker and say, oh, I wonder what that is, or oh, look at that, and you think there's a whole new generation coming up that may not.
And
know.
again, we're not talking about it at
No.
Thanksgiving or Christmas,
No.
or it just doesn't come up anymore. And do we have any left in this area? I think the last one was the St. Nicholas, which isn't exactly our area, but that one ended up perishing too. And they were nice enough, the folks that owned that breaker, to supervise me going in. They let me go in with security, and they let me do it a couple of times. And I think they understood the gravity of preserving that history. And I'm really grateful to them for doing that.
And your photography's in there, and I know you were talking about you took pictures. You started many moons ago, but
30 years ago.
and then you had mentioned something in there that it's about the photography. It's different because it's in color.
I did use some black and white, and that honestly was where I started. I started with black and white, so that's very astute of you to. And then I realized maybe I should start doing some color for the heck of it.
Right.
And it is actually a form of photography called ruin photography, or ruin porn, which is kind of a derogative term for it. But people are very attracted to our past, and these are people who are in their 20s, 30s. And this has become a huge thing within the photographers, sphere, to be an abandonographer. It's a little dangerous.
Abandonographer.
An abandonographer.
Oh my goodness, that's a new term. I mean, I'm not familiar.
It doesn't come up a lot when you hear about, ruin photography,
Right.
but you're an abandonographer. And there's abandonment speaks in so many different ways, but in this respect with these photos, this was a way to call together this abandonment, but also tell a story of our history.
Right. And you called the Huber mine, or I heard in one interview you call it your muse.
Absolutely. I mean, we were always amazed by the fact that it was still intact. We know there are a lot of people going out there, teenagers messing around, probably doing very dangerous stuff.
Right.
We were basically just taking photography all the time. I mean, it wasn't just me. It was a group of photographers from high school and from college, from Mansfield University.
And then you said, you mentioned a little bit when they tore it down. You described the place.
I didn't know what was happening. My mom called me one day and she said, they're going to tear it down. I just did the last shot.
And we have some powerful video we were showing you earlier of it actually, of the demolition of the breaker. And, I mean, I think everybody who had a little bit of a mining history, I mean, we all did in our families. I mean, you can't be from northeastern Pennsylvania and not be touched some way by, say, my grandfather
Absolutely
was a miner, and you're right. And, I hear, my late dad used to say we used to pick coal on the way to school, and it was like, and you hear that and you think, oh, okay. And even, in my age group back then, you were thinking, okay, they're just mines, but there's so much more.
And back then, we actually did, the oral history was passed down to us. But now, I think it was even minimalist, and minimal that we got to learn. And really didn't know much about my grandfather, great-grandfather. I never met him, but I heard he was a very unhappy man.
But when you think about going into a mine every day and you're putting your life at risk to make a living. So tell us a little bit about the book. What are we finding inside these pages? And who
It's kind of a range of, and we go around the whole northeastern area. We also touch on the fact that, Lycoming County does had its hand in mining. All that wood from over there, because they didn't mine over there, we took those trees and we put them underground to support those mines. And those trees are probably still there, holding up, I hope, the mines. There's a chapter on Centralia. There's one on Eckley Miners Village. The Anthracite Museum in Scranton. Of course, Huber.
Right.
Huber was, and St. Nicholas, which is, now gone. That one was kind of dwarfed what Huber looked like. So that was, and that one had a lot of history with it too. I mean, the history that goes beyond just the fact that we were getting coal through there.
Right.
The children, and it breaks my heart. And that's, there was one time I was interviewing somebody for the book, and we both started crying because he had told me this story where a child had died while picking the coal in the breaker, and his friends saw him fall down, and they would not cease the operations for the day because you couldn't stop.
Right.
You needed to make that money, and that poor kid had to sit there all day with his friend right below him, dead, crushed by coal.
Right. I mean, you think of that now. I mean, you're thinking they were the Breaker Boys, right?
Yes.
Wow.
And I had a picture of those Breaker Boys in my office in Los Angeles. Whenever I thought things, are so awful, I have to work in entertainment, it's terrible. I look up at those kids and go, shut your mouth.
Right. Because we don't realize how they all paved the path for us. Speaking of crying, you were saying that you're at a book signing. You also, talk about the Knox Mines disaster, and then the children of Joe Stella.
He was a hero, Jane, an absolute hero. He jeopardized his future, his family's future, his kids' future. He saved these elderly miners. He was not even a miner himself, so he was a mine inspector. Just happened to be there doing his job that day when the Susquehanna broke through. And these older miners just weren't fast enough to get out of the way of that river. They would have drowned without Joe Stella. So fast forward years later, and I'm having a book signing at the Barnes & Noble in Wilkes-Barre Township. And they showed up at the book signing. To this day, I still get chills. And I thought, what a kind people.
We have video of that. Our Tony and Gargiola, this is a video that is, when you just see the power of that whirlpool bringing.
And how he had that much time to even save anybody is amazing to me. Absolutely amazing.
What were their reactions to when you met them?
They were just very soft-spoken, kind people. I didn't even know what to say to them because I was just very, very grateful to see their faces.
Are you surprised, when you're doing your researching or anything? Is there any surprises that you found in looking into the minds of this area or to the people?
Oh, I think the hardship. I didn't realize it was that bad. If you get thrown out of your house, if your husband died and he was a miner, you and the 8 children are out on the curb the next day. That was it. Somebody knew how to move into that house. Eckley Miners Village is a treasure, and if you haven't been there, it's amazing. And I'm so proud of all the heritage we have around here that honors our history. Even Knoebels,
Right.
they have an anthracite mining museum there, and you think you're going there to have fun and eat great food, and then it gets really serious, and it's just a really nice museum.
And tell us a little bit more about the book. Who was your publisher?
It was Arcadia, Arcadia Publishing.
And you start writing this book, and were you amazed at what you were uncovering when you were starting to get there?
Yeah, because I didn't know anything. I really didn't know anything, and I picked up Writer's Market for I think 2016, and I started with the A's, and I knew I wasn't going to self-publish because I just didn't think I knew enough about book publishing to be able to do it myself. It was just, to me, it just seemed very overwhelming. Just writing a book is a lot.
Oh, I bet.
And this is really just a lot of pictures. And again, it took 30 years just to take pictures.
Right.
So at this point, I needed some help, and Arcadia really did support me. And they just promoted the book to hardback last year.
And you're, as we're going to be heading to break, you're having an upcoming book signing.
Yes, I have a book signing at Auto Bookstore November 7th, 6 to 8. And I'm not the only author, though. It's going to be an author's weekend at the oldest bookstore in Pennsylvania.
I think you need to do a book on Otto's Bookstore because that's a historic bookstore, and you're there. So we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to continue our conversation with Lorena Beniquez. She is the author of the book Lost Coal Country of Northeastern Pennsylvania, and we're going to talk a little bit about Centralia when we return. You're watching Community Newsmakers I'm Jane Ann Bugda. We'll be right back.
2822 Now presents Community Newsmakers with your host, Jane Ann Bugda. .2822 Now presents Community Newsmakers with your host, Jane Ann Bugda.
Welcome back to Community Newsmakers, Jane Ann Bugda, and I'm in the midst of a conversation with Lorena Beniquez. She is an author, photographer, filmmaker, former reporter for here at WBRE and now WYOU. We were taking a look back at some of her history and the history of our area through a book that she wrote called Lost Coal Country of Northeastern Pennsylvania. Has an upcoming book signing. The book is now in hardcover, right?
Yes.
It's a great way to learn the history of our area, not only through storytelling, but through photos. And you took a lot of photos of...
I mean, I don't know how many hundreds I took. And again, I started when I was probably 19 years old photographing the Huber. And then from there, just went on to, it was a Huber for probably 15 years. And then I finally started to branch out to other muses.
Right, and one of them, and while we were getting ready for the show, we looked back, our Tony and Gargiola, and he said, I found a package that Lorena did of Centralia. So we want to show it to you. So this is the package.
Visitors to Centralia are warned by the Pennsylvania Department of Environmental Protection walking or driving in the borough can result in injury or death. That's because the fires still burn. Centralia became a ghost town after a mine fire erupted in 1962.
There used to be a red light, now there's stop signs. Many stores, homes, that's all gone. Nothing there.
Blocks are now houseless, roads lead nowhere, the police department shuttered, and the hope of putting out the fires abandoned. Locals say a trash fire burned out of control, igniting a coal vein. With such a ghostly backdrop, you'd think this would be the perfect place to go trick-or-treating, but I'm told there's only about 20 or so people who still live in the town, so it's pretty slim pickings for the trick-or-treaters here. At one point, there was over 1,000 people here, so why have some people chosen to stay?
Oh, they're nice. Everybody knows. It's nice to live in a small town because everybody knows everybody.
Not far from the vents, this home is still occupied. Many of the trees have died, an eerie reminder of how deadly the carbon monoxide fumes can be. Oddly enough, we did find some signs of life. This crew installing a water line. For Pennsylvania Morning, I'm Lorena Beniquez.
So, bring back memories.
Wow.
I know we were talking
Yes,
about it. I had told her
yes.
about the before the program, but you begged to do that story.
I begged for 3 years to do that story, and they just kept saying, the news director at the time just kept saying, everybody does that story. No, I said, but Halloween's coming up.
Right.
He's like, all right, just go. Just go. And then I got there, and I was absolutely, now that I look at that footage, Jane, it's so different now, Centralia. I did not remember that there was that much smoke to be, that was, now you go, it's still there, it's still on fire, but it's just not as, I think I was there in October. It was a little colder in October back then.
Right, and you see
it
it
really
a
was a
little
lot
bit
colder
more,
back,
right.
and you see it a lot more in the cold. But now when you go, you don't see it. It's not as you just don't see the smoke puffs like you used to, which I hope is a good thing.
Right. And you got to admire the people back then that were sticking it out. I mean, this was their town.
Absolutely.
They weren't giving it up. At that time, they didn't even have stoplights or anything. It was just a ghost town. And boy, and they there's some people still there that
There are. I think there's like 5 left. I think the biggest indignity came when they took away their zip code.
Right. Isn't that something? You
Yeah.
know, like
Just wrote 'em
sorry,
off.
you're
Done.
no longer on the map. You know, your history though, but the history lives on with that. And
a lot of it's disappearing quickly, though. I mean, the physical history is disappearing. There was a road there, which to me is one of the biggest public-made art projects in the world. And it's escaping me the name of it.
Was it Chalk Highway or something like? I remember.
There's so many different names
for it. Yes.
And apparently they had to cover it up. And everything that was, I mean, the art that was on there actually was pretty amazing. And I remember seeing one phrase there that somebody chalked in there, and they called it Hell 570. Mm-hmm. And I thought, wow, you summed that up well.
Right, right. Do you think, when you look back, you're looking at, the Centralia, and you look at this history, is it forgotten? Or is it just something like we have like oh yeah,
I think Centralia has just had a way of just perpetuating itself. I mean, now it's made its way into a very famous video game that went on to become a movie. And for our film office, the Lycoming Arts Film Office, that is part of our region that we've had people come from Los Angeles just to come there to see what Centralia is about. And we'd show them, take them around, show them scouting locations. So it doesn't look the same as it did back then. It's always changing.
But there's interest. There's
There
history,
still really
and the
is.
history, is still.
And the internet loves Centralia. I mean, it's been on fire since 1962, and again, nobody's doing anything about it. I don't know that there's anything that can be done about it.
And a testament to the people that still live there. I mean,
oh my gosh,
God bless them, right? I mean,
oh my gosh,
they're
they're hardy folk, and this one house that's still there. Boy, do they decorate for Christmas.
So
they show their joy. They're happy where they're at.
It's their hometown. They want to leave it.
And they're not leaving. They're loyal.
You had mentioned this earlier with the book that you had said that it's more than just history. It's a field guide for hikers and that. So explain that a little bit to me. Like,
a lot of these places you have to really be committed to get there. So you might need to hoof it. You don't necessarily usually need a bike, but if you are out on a bike, you're cycling around, and you just. Now, one of the hardest ones is the Knox Mine disaster. It's very hard to find. But there is a little monument that sometimes gets overgrown. But you get there and you see this still rust-colored water coming out of the earth. And, you're out on a bike ride or hiking, and you're reminded that this is history.
Right.
And, hopefully this isn't just a book about history. It's motivating people to get out and discover for themselves. Come up with your own conclusions as to what happened. Where do we go in the future? What do we take from this? I don't have any opinions on coal power, future, present, past. I don't know enough about it. I just know about what happened with our area. And coal.
And you mentioned people going out there to look, and you said there are people. Do you think we? And I don't know if you feel comfortable answering this, but do you think we teach enough in school about our mining history?
No, I don't think we do. I mean, it's been a while since I've been in school, but I do remember when I went to Wyoming area, we had a separate course on just local history, and it was a little flimsy paperback book that with a couple of staples in there. It was probably made on a mimeograph before Xerox.
Right.
And but they don't do that anymore, and we're so rich in history, just like all of the United States. We're still young, but we've got a lot of history.
We've got a lot of stories to share. How has social media, you think, helped keep our history alive?
Well, I think definitely that's a great question, Jane. I mean, in terms of Centralia and abandoned photography, there are whole genres of YouTube channels that are dedicated to and we come up a lot because we have beautiful abandonment. We really do. And I think people are still, we had 2 YouTube stars come out to Centralia, and they're Sam and Colby, if anybody knows who they are, huge stars, and they were 22, 23 years old. So I think not just Centralia, but all of it is still perpetuating itself. And I think the internet has given it actually new life. I do.
You said something interesting. You called it beautiful abandonment. That's an interesting term. When people don't probably see it that way. You can say, "Oh, look at this eyesore. What can we do with it?"
Well, there were times in the book I tried to flip it on its head and not just here's an old building that's crumbling. Here's actually what nature has done to the building or surrounding the building. Nature will take it back, and nature will make it beautiful again. And then to me, abandonment is beautiful, but it depends on abandonment, why we're attracted to it. There's a million different reasons why we're attracted to it.
Anything more that you got out of the book? How did the book change you, do you think?
Well, I never thought myself as a historian, so it made me a historian.
True. Oh, there you go. Interesting.
I did understand my family a lot better, and my friends' families a lot better, and I got to know my friends' parents and grandparents a lot better because I interviewed a lot of them for the book. And there were just so many people in this area that were just so selfless with their time to just, sit down and talk to me for a couple of hours. And the support that we've gotten throughout the community, just not northeastern and central Pennsylvania, but even beyond. We sold a book in Australia.
Oh wow! I was gonna say, and where can
that
we
was
find
crazy.
The book? How, in Australia? Well, there's interest there, right? I mean, the people find history
It
interesting.
had to be somebody from northeastern Pennsylvania.
But talk about where can we find the book?
It is on Amazon and Barnes and Noble.
Barnes and Noble.
It is.
And again,
at Autos.
At
bookstore
Autos, yeah,
in Williamsport.
Bookstore coming up. It's on November 7th, and you mentioned it's located in downtown Williamsport.
Yes.
And
that's an institution in itself. And you're right. There should be a book on autos.
There you go.
Just about. I'm sorry, auto. I always put possessive on it, but it's just auto.
Auto. I know. I do too.
I don't know
well.
why I do that.
We have about a minute left. Another book on the horizon? Do you think?
I'm hoping. I mean, I'm working on it.
Oh.
I worked on a query letter last week, and query letters are worse than writing a book. They're just they're scary.
So maybe it'll be the return visit for.
It'll be abandonment.
Oh, abandonment.
It'll be.
Okay.
I think it's going to focus on the art of abandonment.
Yeah, art of abandonment. Okay, interesting. So again, one more time, the upcoming book signing at Autos. You can find the book again on Amazon
and Barnes and
Noble. And I wish you continued luck with the book and continue
so
telling
much,
the
Jane
stories of the history and all our history, because it's northeastern and central Pennsylvania that's where we grew up. This is the book again is called The Lost Coal Country of Northeastern Pennsylvania. And Lorena, thank you for joining me today.
Thank you for inviting me, Jane Ann. And thank you to 22 and 28 too for having me.
Oh, what a wonderful having you. For Community Newsmakers, I'm Jane Ann Bugda. I want to thank Tony Gargiola and Matt Gronsky, as always, for their help in putting this together the show. Joey Nardone on the board. Thanks, Joey. And we'll be talking again soon. I'm Jane Ann Bugda, and thank you for joining me.
2822 Now presents Community Newsmakers with your host, Jane Ann Bugda.